week on the show with Trackside with Trish, and usually we're talking about harness racing. But Trish, you know your horses all the way around. We're going to talk about the thoroughbreds tonight.
At least I do know one end from the other end. Of course, the 122nd running of the Kentucky Derby is just around the corner, Saturday, May 4th. And, oh, what an exciting event. Maybe perhaps a wide-open event this year.
You know, we got to start doing, like when Mike White does the high school picks and everything, we always keep track of everybody's record of how they do. Trish kind of sneaks in here every year, never picks the right horse, and we never remind her of it.
Don't you know the past is history, tomorrow's a mystery.
There you go. She picked last year and she couldn't remember. We do know, however, that the horse did not win, whoever that might be.
I think it was Tabasco Thunder or something like that.
Oh, boy.
I got a tie with that on, too. Tabasco Cat and Tabasco Thunder. What is the rationale for any trainer or owner entering a horse in a 20-horse field? I mean, it's just so crowded that, you know, doesn't it harm the race? And, you know, what's the point? A lot of these owners know that they can't win.
Actually, they do, but it's such a thrill and something that everybody strives for in the sport. You know, not everything makes sense. Some things are definitely straight from the heart. And I think when it comes to major races like that, people that feel they have a glimmer of hope, just the slightest bit of opportunity, they want to take that chance. And hey, long shots do win.
Trish, how much of an effect is there on a horse in a race like this where there's 80,000 screaming drunk people in the infield? And I mean, it's a little different than what a lot of these horses have ever experienced before. Can they be affected by the crowd and the hubbub that's going on down there?
An inexperienced horse could well be affected. However, most of the trainers do their homework and they have them well prepped and ready to face those kind of circumstances. And then just like your major athletes that are able to drown out the noise and concentrate on the business at task, those horses that are under the rider, they're concentrating on that rider and that bit, and he's sending the signals, and believe me, they're right there. They're not up there in the crowd.
Let's talk about the race on Saturday. The favorite gets the 20th post position. I mean, you know, he's in another county.
Against the odds, too, because
he's coming from Tennessee. I mean, he, you know, and in doing a little bit of homework, in the last 13, a very little bit, in the last 13 races, the favorite, the chalk horse, has only finished in the money 3 times. So can we wipe out Unbridled right now and not even bother with him?
Well, first of all, on the post position point, only one horse ever went out of post position 20, and that was back, I believe, 1929. It was a gelding, so it was a rare instance indeed.
I remember that, actually.
And, you covered that, didn't you?
I covered that, as a matter of fact.
An Unbridled Song, a lot of people are going to go against him simply because of the problem he's been having with his foot, the bar shoe. You probably heard all about that.
Tell us about, what is the bar shoe?
The bar shoe, it's to relieve pressure. They actually, instead of a horseshoe normally has an opening, it's now closed, and that fits on the heel of the horse, and it relieves the pressure on the heel so that he will be able to hit that surface without feeling pain, hopefully, and that's the purpose. It's to relieve pressure. But a lot of people would go against him. However, if you're a dosage index handicapper, you would have to love Unbridled Song because he scores high points in all directions for those that follow that kind of handicapping, which started back, I believe, in 1981.
Having said all that, give us a horse or two that you think really has got a great opportunity to win. I've heard some people say that Unbridled Song, even if all those things come to fruition, is not worth the odds that you have to pay.
Right, that's true. He's got a lot going against him. D. Wayne Lucas, a very well-respected trainer that I'm sure everybody in America knows about, has 5 horses going postward. And to make a short story, Editor's Note is one of them, and Prince of Thieves another. Both of those come in with very strong works, and both of them are second-time Lasix. So you might want to take a look at the pair of them. That's Editor's Note and Prince of Thieves, excuse me.
Editor's Note and Skip Away, I guess, have terrible post positions, too. You're going to have a ton of speed, or supposedly
this is going to be a speed race.
The end of the horse, the end of the post.
It's supposed to set up to be a speed race, and there's really very few horses that can handle the 1.25 mile distance, and that's where that dosage index comes in, because they go by pedigree about endurance horses, and that's where Unbridled Song scored all the big high marks. But of course, there's an index factor. It's 4.0, and really there's only 2 horses that exceed that this year that you would have to like throw out, and that's Skip Away for one and Louis Quatorze for another. So they say throw them out.
We talked at the top of the show, Guy did his story on a lady trainer. More women, we talked about this a couple of years ago, more women are getting involved in the sport. Is there a great opportunity for women to get involved, and is there any opportunity to become an owner, let alone a trainer, or even a high-profile jockey?
The opportunity is there, however, it's not an easy one, and it's a tough task even today for the women to get recognition in the sport of horse racing. They are the backbone of the industry when it comes to your grooms, your hot walkers, maybe your exercise girls and that, but when it comes to the training or riding or training and driving, as in my sport, it's a very tough row to hoe.
And I always found that strange when it comes to the jockey, in that it's usually smaller men, guys that want to stay light, and women naturally are smaller and lighter for the most part. Why aren't more of them jockeys?
But there's a lot of physical strength involved. It may not appear so when you see the rider, but there's a lot of shoulder, arm, back, and it's the same with drivers. A lot of physical strength involved in handling that horse, and I think that has a lot to do with it. But as far as are there going to be more and more, I believe so. And Cynthia Reese in contention, her horse won a very strong race against Unbridled Song in the Wood Memorial, finishing second.
I noticed you had in contention circled out all the horses on your sheet. Why is that?
Oh, I just did that because of the woman trainer, of course. A little.
Is that your pick?
No. If I was going to go for someone that I think might upset Unbridled Song, which I'm thinking that he's going to overcome post 20 and his bar shoe, but I would take one of Lucas's horses. I think that he realizes that this is a wide open event, no strong horses in it, and he thinks he really has a chance. So I'd go with one of the second-time Lasix users, perhaps Prince of Thieves.
Okay. Well, you gave us two of Lucas's horses. If either one,
Prince of Thieves.
No, I was going to give you credit as an entry. If either one wins, we give you credit.
All right. Next year, you're going to remind me, right?
I will remind you.
Be one
I don't get that.
One.
Yesterday is history next year, huh?
If one of those horses wins, you should remind us.
Okay. And who do you like? Can't be pinned down.
I honestly don't know enough.
Let me look at the names here.
Oh, that's it. Pick a name.
I'll take the one that you circled.
I like editors know. That's
there we go.
Just because
I've worked for some editors I didn't care for.
That's why I picked it.
Thanks, Trish. Always great to have you on.
Did we prove our ignorance once again?
No, I can't say that.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me back.
Always. You're always welcome. By the way, there's no truth in the rumor that Bar Shoe closes at 2 a.m. We'll be back with some more talk about the Derby right after this.